we actually had an extra one with Sue Charles sign. Anyway, don't run into people quite as often, but every once in a while there's somebody who, you know, did their naturalization and they got sworn in as a citizen, which where the theater used to be. Because, you know, Wing hired a historian to kind of do the history and then do an oral history. And then they also hired one of the gals who used to be in the building, who was the graphic designer, to do all the layouts. And then we hired one of the gals in the basement to do the art exhibition installations to do these are built. And the reason why these are built is there's two old air conditioner heating units that aren't used that are hidden behind there that now look so much better because we have those built. Yeah, I'm enjoy the tour. Anybody, you know, some of these studios open. I think Urban Art was there around all right.
I'm gonna grab. Oh, go for it.
We have two tours.
Put these on the side. You have the side with me. Oh, okay. All right. I forgot about that. Okay, let's go on. My group will get downstairs.
Okay, Mimi's group, rolling her.
Okay, what we're doing here is this was the lobby for you to check in for any activities that you involve the building here. And behind the door on the left, behind this wall, was actually the file room for all the records of all the Chinese that was being processed. Remember I told you this was actually used mainly to process the Chinese Exclusion Act folks who came over from, the first Chinese came over around the 1860s. They actually came over and actually started to grow with Seattle when Seattle started to be a town. Some of them didn't come straight from China. Some of them came through California, through the garage, and through the railroad building. But since then, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act enacted in 1882, which means that not every Chinese is allowed to be here. The only people that are allowed to be here were the businessmen, which is the merchants, the diplomats, or student standard. So you have these three types of visas. Even nowadays, when you apply to the US, you have to meet certain criteria to be granted specific visa to come in. Most of you were born and raised here, so you will never have to deal with that. But if you ever go to a place, a country that is very restricted, they will check and issue visas to your passport, and you have to apply for that first, and sometimes you get turned down. So this is how the Chinese are coming in. Since 1882, we don't have any more laborers, but doesn't mean that there's no Chinese coming. There are still Chinese coming. And remember I told you that we have very similar structures in Angel Island, New York. They were processing these European Americans coming in quickly, but on this side of the West Coast, Chinese Americans were detained because we were in enforced quarantine. So while they're here, they will actually be here. By 1932, they will be brought here after they land, and we'll see that now in a minute. But I want to explain to you what this is. Every time a Chinese person who came here, when they land off the boat, they will be brought here. They will also be interviewed by the INS officers to check and validate you. You may be a returning merchant. You may be a newcomer who is living here the first time. No matter who you are, every Chinese has a file because your interview became a legal document and is on record. So you would have a file under your name. So if you're a merchant who travels back and forth every 2-3 years, you may have a file that is this big by the end of your life. And they will be storing them in here. They were not filed in alphabetical order. So to locate your file was a chore. I think they were filing as chronological order, so you have to remember when you came.
Oh, that's harder.
Yeah, but that was the whole entire room back here was all the files, physical files, literal paper that was stored in here. So when they cleared this out, it took them several months to actually organize all that, and most of the files are now in the National Archives. So if you have Chinese ancestries and you're interested in what great-grandfather did, you might want to go look at those files. Okay, all right, let's move downstairs.
My great-grandparents.
What?
You're recording it.
I know.
Can you get all those files online now, or do you have to go to?
It is hard. Let me explain to you why it's hard as we go downstairs.
Okay.
Now, first of all, as we get through the staircase here, we have open space here now, right? We have no blockage, no barring and everything. But when it was the INS building, all these actually have grated gates, and they would be locked, and the doors are the only way to access it. So you can see some of the markings here. Some of the walls have drill holes that where the fencing were installed to divide each section to be monitored and secured. So let's go downstairs. Now, this is the basement side, and actually this also, if you land at the dock off the boat, you'll be coming through on this way. Some of these rooms, like this one here, oh, he's not here today, so we can't open it to see. Are you tall enough to take a peek inside?
Oh my
Can you
god.
see it?
Use your light.
Use your light, yeah. And take a picture maybe and show your friends.
Oh my god.
What does it look like? It's a cell.
Oh, can you take a video? Use it with flash. Use it with flash. Use it with flash.